Sixers Fix with Scott Ninnis. Join one of the Adelaide 36ers' favourite sons as we deep dive into everything past and present about one of the most storied franchises in the NBL. It's Sixers Fix, your Adelaide 36ers podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sixers Fix with Scott Ninnis, and plenty happening. As we talked about on our last episode here on Sixers Fix, the Adelaide 36ers are the NBL Blitz champions and now just days away from starting the NBL season in Perth against the Wildcats and then on Sunday against the Illawarra Hawks at home. Plenty to get through. Now, Scott Ninnis, as always, you're joining me. I'm Chris Pike. But before I get to you, Scotty, I'm joined by a very special guest, Daniel Johnson. Thanks for joining us, and you're back home in your old hometown.
Yeah, been on the road for a while now, but happy to be back in Perth for a bit of time leading into our first game. Yeah,
fantastic to have you here, and I appreciate you joining us for this episode. And Scotty, hasn't been long since we last chatted, but how do we find you now?
Not too bad at all, mate. I'm seem to be the missing link here. You guys folks all having fun over there in Perth, and I'm sitting here the sweltering 33-degree day here in Adelaide. So I think I'll probably be rather over there, but I guess probably with as far as DJ goes, he'd probably like to get home at some stage. I've been on the road for, about 3.5 weeks now, DJ, is it?
Yeah, we're getting on a bit, missing home, but not too long now, hopefully.
And, obviously the Blitz was successful, mates, and, winning the whole thing. I think we all know that you can't take look a lot into pre-season form, but probably we're having such a newish team. Probably winning those games was a good sideline to the actual build-up.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously having guys in and out of the team and, not running a lot of our sets, it's kind of, hard for us to really see where we're at. But I think just, guys competing, we got down in a few games and just fighting back into those games and ended up winning 5 out of 5s. Just a good sign of where the group's at.
And you managed to kick up 25 shots, let's see, in one game, DJ. So obviously still getting shots up. Has CJ spoken to you much about your role this year? Or do you see it being any different to the last couple of years?
Yeah, we've talked a little bit. He's pretty much just said it'll be pretty similar to past years. I'll still be getting a few shots up, as you can see. But no, I think we've got a pretty deep group this year. I think a lot of guys will come off the bench and give a big impact. So yeah, I'm just trying to slot in and see where I fit in the group.
Now, Scotty, we've got plenty to talk to DJ about as this episode goes on. But going back to last season, he was our MVP winner here on Sixers Fix, thanks to Premium Wine Tours. Now, I don't think he's been able to cash in his price just yet, has he?
I keep offering, mate. He's welcome to cash in at any stage. It's probably getting a little bit difficult now as we get into the season proper, but it's still there whenever he wants it, mate. He's earned it well and truly. So the car's ready whenever he gets a spare day.
DJ, you probably have to wait until the end of the season now. Possibly.
Yeah, it might be.
You won't have 2 tours to cash in by then.
Bit of a dry streak at the moment, but we'll definitely be cashing that in once the season's done.
You won't have 2 to cash in by then as well.
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
Now, speaking of that, Scotty, he's a 6-time club MVP winner now. It's only a matter of time before he surpasses somebody pretty special, isn't it?
Oh, and there will not be a funnier day in my life because old nose is a little bit precious that DJ's now tied with him as 6-time club MVP, and to move ahead of him would be absolutely hysterical. He's still got a bit of ways to go to catch the great man Mark Davis with 9, but he's well poised to get ahead of the Grey Ghost, I reckon. So that'd be quite humorous.
We'll talk a bit more in detail about your time in Adelaide later, DJ, but I don't think when you first arrived in Adelaide you would have ever thought, 11 or 12 years later you'd be still playing at the 36ers. Like we said, you'd be a 6-time club MVP and you would have done what you've done and more importantly, call Adelaide home.
Yeah, no, it's been a pretty interesting journey. Obviously got there young and just trying to get an opportunity and kind of establish myself in the league, and just turned out really well. Like I fell in love with Adelaide, the city, first and foremost, and then met my wife, and yeah, it's just been a really enjoyable journey, and I'm really happy to call Adelaide home now.
DJ, fast forwarding to where we are now with the current lineup. Who are the new players has impressed you, and can the Adelaide home crowd look forward to seeing in full flight come Sunday?
I mean, like I said, I think we're pretty deep this year. We've got a lot of different guys that are going to come in and give an impact. I think first our imports, Dusty's one of the best shooters I've played with, so I think he's going to definitely get some nights where he just goes crazy and drops 40. And Todd is an elite defender. I think he's going to be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year this year. So those two guys are going to be pretty special for the guys to watch out there. And I've been really impressed with Tad Duffermine. He hasn't played much in the preseason, but I think he's going to actually do a lot more than people expect this year, and really, gives a good punch coming off the bench and running that backup point position. So, there's a lot of things to be excited about.
I want to follow up a bit more about with Dusty Hannans if I can. I mean, on our last episode, Jamie Perlman said that he's the best shooter that he's ever rebounded for, and he's been involved in basketball for 30 years, so that's a fair rap. But I think what might endear him to 36ers fans more than anything was that he had a run-in with Kevin White over at the Blitz. That's a pretty fast way to become a 36ers favourite, isn't it?
Yeah, Dusty's pretty fiery when people get under his skin. He doesn't take a backward step, but that's a good trait to have. And you see what happened after he got fired up. He hit 13 points in a row. So yeah, hopefully we'll be more people will be hitting him in games this year, and he'll be making the most of it.
Peter, we didn't see a lot of Kai Soto during the Blitz, and I know he's had a few little aches and pains. Where's he at this stage as far as leading into the season?
I think he's just got a bit of a knee niggle. I don't think it's anything too serious. They're just trying to rest him, get him ready for game one. I'm hoping he can play. I mean, he obviously hasn't been out there on the track much, and he's hasn't really got the runs under his belt at the moment. But I think once we get him going, he's going to do some special things. 7'3", he's long, he can block shots and finish around the ring. So he's going to be, I think, a real fan favourite for everyone. But,
I saw a glimpse of that in that first game, didn't he? That dunk that he did off the rolling screen, that was pretty nice.
Yeah, you can do some pretty elite things out there. So yeah, we just got to manage him and make sure we're taking care of his body.
And speaking of injuries, mate, I guess probably the one that all of the 36ers fans are holding their breath is Isaac Humphries. How's he coming along?
Yeah, Isaac's been good. He played some good minutes when he was out there. I think he tweaked his shoulder a little bit in one of the games, so I think they're just being, precautious with that. But he trained today and he looked really good again, so it's looking like he'll be ready for game one, which will be, really good to have him back out there.
And speaking of game one, the arch enemy, the Perth Wildcats, what do you have to do to get a first up win against them on Friday night, DJ?
We've talked about really just controlling what we can control. Those first few Blitz games had over 20 turnovers in both of them, so just about looking after the ball. Perth historically have been a great rebounding team, so just keeping them off the glass. And like I said, we don't really know where we're at with these Blitz games. A lot of teams didn't play their full squads, so playing Perth in Perth first game, we'll definitely know where we're at, and hopefully we can keep the wins coming.
Let's talk a bit more about the Blitz. Obviously, you've won every game, but firstly, being down in Tasmania and then playing, especially at the Derwent Entertainment Centre there, the My State Bank Arena, the redevelopment there. What were your first impressions of that?
I was impressed. Beautiful part of the world. We enjoyed being down in Tassie and just getting out and seeing it. So they played really hard when we went up against them. They might not have the most imposing roster on paper, but they definitely play hard, and no one's out there taking bad shots. They're getting through their offenses, and I actually think their imports are pretty talented guys as well. So yeah, they're going to trouble some people this year, and we were lucky to get away with a win against them when we played them.
It was a lot of fun seeing Jack McVeigh try to guard you. I'm not sure he had too much success. I don't think you minded that matchup, did you?
Nah, I enjoy it. Jack likes talking a bit out there, so had to keep him quiet. But I'm going to enjoy that battle when we come up against each other.
And just DJ, with the teams that you saw down in Tassie, can you tell us one or two players from other teams that either you feel have improved during the off season, or just some imports to look out for? Just a couple of names for us. I
think that Cairns import, McCall, he's going to be an elite defender. I'm not sure where he's at offensively, but he's going to have to carry a pretty big load for them this year for them to be successful, I think. So he's definitely one that, I think will be in that conversation for Defensive Player of the Year as well. And then I think Perth, obviously having Cotton and Vic Law together is going to be pretty dangerous 1-2 combo. So, we'll see it firsthand on Friday, and hopefully we can do a job on them and slow them down a bit.
The other great thing that came out of you being able to play in Tasmania during the Blitz was that you got to play in some crowds. You have a look at the games that were in Melbourne, and there was no crowds there. It was a little bit tamer, and it's been a long time since you played in front of a crowd. That must have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great. It's not the biggest stadium down there, but they packed it out that first game, and it was actually really loud in there. And the boys were really pumped for it. Obviously, playing in Perth's going to be another level again with up near 14,000. So it's just going to be good for us to be put in that pressure situation early on and just really see where we're at.
Mitch McCarron as well. Sorry, Scotty. Mitch McCarron is your new captain. Probably the biggest signing, I think, across the league, I reckon, was Mitch joining the 36ers. I think it was that big coming off what he did last year at Melbourne. He won the MVP at the Blitz as well, the Ray Borner medal, because he just does everything so well. And whether it's he can score, but it's setting up your offense, it's passing, it's rebounding, it's defending, it's everything that he does. How huge is he? We knew he was a big signing, but now that he's actually there and playing with you, how big has he been?
No, he's been great. I think you touched on it. He just does a bit of everything. He's leading our defense, making sure he's running guys off screens and making our job as big a bit easier. And I think his assists has really impressed me. He's really unselfish. Won't shoot unless he's wide open. Just wants to get other guys involved, and that becomes infectious in the group. And everyone just wants to play that same kind of brand. So no, he's going to be a great leader for the club, and I'm just really excited to play with him.
DJ, you spoke about Bryce Cotton and Vic Law. Obviously, two huge matchups for us come Friday night. Can you give us any lot of insider trading, any little secrets about who you think will match up with them and how to try and negate their influence?
Well, I'm not actually too sure who we're even starting. We've had a lot of guys in and out, so I guess we'll talk about that a bit later in the week once we figure out who's actually going to be fit and going. But I think I'll spend a bit of time on Vic, and as for Cotton, I think a lot of different guys will get a go on him. Sunday and Macca and even Todd, I'm sure, excited to get that job and try and shut him down. It's obviously very difficult, especially when they're in a non-ball together. There's really good options everywhere, but it's just about helping off those other guys that maybe aren't as good offensively and trying to shrink the floor and make them give the ball up. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, Scotty mentioned it before. You don't you might have even mentioned it as well, DJ. You don't always take a lot of notice out of wins during the Blitz, but when you go through undefeated, and especially when you've got so many new players, you've got a new coach, it must still be a good feeling now. You must be feeling pretty good as a group coming into the season on the back of what you're able to do. Yeah,
no, I think we're feeling good. I mean, I think the main thing was just how hard everyone played out there. We had a lot of development guys in there, and Nick Marshall looked like he fitted in perfectly, like he's going to have a real bright future. So that was an exciting point from us veterans, seeing him go out there and do really well. But no, you want to win every game you go out there, and even though teams aren't playing their full rosters, everyone's still trying to win the game. So it's a good sign for us to get away with 5, and we're just hoping we can carry that form into the season and get running and get some wins on the board early on.
Was it that comeback win against Perth? I think you were down 16 at one point, and then obviously you had that big comeback, and Dusty was a big part of that. Is that the one you take the most part out of, especially because you're now playing them on Friday night?
Yeah, that was a big win. I think also the Tassie one, I think we're down like 20-something, and you don't normally come back from games like that. But it just seems we've got this feeling around the group that we get down big and no one's dropping their head and getting negative. Everyone's just, focused on the task at hand and getting better. Obviously, we don't want to get down that much in games, but just the fight back, it's a good sign for the group.
Now, Scotty, I want to change tack just quickly and talk about the coaching a little bit. Now, I won't ask the first obvious question straight away. I want to ask about DJ's thoughts on Scotty Ninnis being part of the coaching staff a little bit before you went down to Tasmania. How did Scotty do?
Scotty's been great. He's a very, very cool head, which has been good.
Cool head, Scotty.
Yeah.
You haven't been called that too often.
No,
Gee whiz, that's
doesn't rant and rave too much, which I like. But Scotty's been great having him down. Obviously he's seen a lot in basketball and he's got a lot of advice to give us. So yeah, we've got a really good coaching staff this year with Jamie and obviously CJ coming in. So yeah, there's a lot of guys we can kind of lean on for some advice.
Did you see anything different from the team from seeing them up close on the court, Scotty, than you might have been seeing the last couple of years from a bit further away?
Oh, absolutely. When you're involved on a day-to-day basis of being out there for a month, I was really impressed with just the overall work ethic and how much the team genuinely get on. And I think that's a really, really important thing if you're going to have a team that's successful and can go a long way into the season and finals. You need to have that camaraderie. And look, the trainings weren't easy. There was a lot of a fitness component to it as well. And, guys just went about their business. And, I couldn't be more excited about, watching this season unfold and seeing this group of men, come together and play, hopefully, some fantastic basketball. But I wanted to probably further on what you're talking about, Chris. CJ Bruton's been out here. You've seen him firsthand for a couple of months now, DJ. Obviously, the circumstances of him coming in, was a little bit unusual. But how have you found CJ on a day-to-day basis?
It's been good. I mean, I don't think he's had to really, come in and yell and scream much at all. He very much just says it how it is, and this is just what you have to do, and just do it pretty much. So it's been good. I've had some screaming coaches before, and sometimes that works. But I'm sure he can give his spray when he needs to. But hopefully we can keep winning, and he doesn't have to. But no, I really enjoyed. He's obviously got a really smart basketball brain. He knows X's and O's, and he has all these big ideas, and it takes us all as players a little bit longer to figure it out and kind of execute it. But he's been doing a really good job of just being patient with us and letting us learn in our own time.
Now, I think this is the first time you've had a head coach who is someone you actually played against. Is that a little bit strange, or was it strange having seen him as an opponent for so many years and now having him as your head coach?
Yeah, I mean, it is strange. You start feeling pretty old, but it's good. I mean, I got to witness firsthand just how good he was and how he could take over a game. So you just have a lot of respect for him, as a player, and he's done it all in basketball. So when he says something, it's really easy just to take it on board and do what he says. So I think it's a great thing that he hasn't been too far out of playing and he's still kind of in tune with the players.
Now, the real reason we wanted DJ here, Scotty, was to put the hard question on him. What's the chance of you playing for South Adelaide next season in the NBL 1?
Don't worry, I've already asked the question.
Asked me, yeah. But I don't know. We'll see how we go. This hopefully the season can go off with no hitches and we can be done in a reasonable amount of time. But all that stuff we'll find it as we go, I guess.
It didn't sound too positive.
No, not holding my breath, unfortunately. But
now, I want to get your thoughts, Scott, on DJ. Now, don't feel awkward because he's sitting alongside us, but when he first came to Adelaide, do you remember what your first reaction was? It wasn't long after you were involved as head coach, so you might not have been paying that close attention, but did you expect him to come close to having the sort of career in Adelaide that he's gone on to have?
Oh, look, I don't think probably anyone could have foreseen him having, this career that he's had and the longevity that he's had. I think everyone was probably hopeful, when he came in that he could be a star of the club, but he's gone over and beyond that. And it's just his consistency is what blows me away, that, you can just rely on getting 20 and 10 just about every night. And that's a testament to the way he's looked after his body and, been dedicated to his craft and always presents himself in great shape. And, doesn't look like there's any signs of slowing down yet, DJ. So hopefully there's quite a few more years to come ahead of you, in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. We never know when it's going to finish up, but no, I'm still enjoying it just as much as I always have. So, yeah, I'm hoping it can keep going for a while.
I've got to be honest, I don't know if you've ever looked as good during your pre-season. I mean, is your body feeling as good as you look right now?
No, I feel good. I mean, I think the season going so long last year, we didn't have much of a break, so there wasn't much time to get out of shape. But no, I've just come in feeling good, and you know, the club's been really good at keeping me off my feet a bit and just keeping me fresh. So yeah, I'm excited for the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 359 games in the league you've played. You've played now. The 6 MVPs for the club, and no one that's playing right now has scored more points or had more rebounds than you. Despite all of that, I reckon you're still underrated. I don't know if people rate you as highly as they should for everything you've achieved. I mean, it's a hard question for you to answer, but do you have any idea why? Is it because you don't seek the limelight, or you're pretty softly spoken? You don't, I guess, look for you're not sort of over the top with how you act on the court. Do you think that's why, or why do you think you perhaps don't get the respect that some of us think you probably deserve?
Yeah, I'm not sure about all that stuff. Yeah, I just go about my business, and people can think whatever they want to think. But haven't spent too much time trying to figure all that out, to be honest. I feel lucky to be able to go out there and play as long as I have, and as long as I can keep doing that, I'll be happy. What
do you think it is, Scotty? I mean, obviously in Adelaide, we know how highly we rate him, and he's one of the all-time greats of the club. But why do you think from the outside he might not get the respect that he perhaps should?
I don't know if it's a lack of respect. I think probably over the last couple of years, I think people have just, realised, what a star he is. And but I do think probably some of the things you mentioned, that he's not overly demonstrative on the court. He doesn't jump up and down and carry on like a pork chop. He just goes about his business and does it week in, week out. And I think that's some of the. Maybe that's it too. Sometimes you look at the the stats at the end of the game, and he's got 24 points and 10 rebounds, and it's just done with a minimum of fuss and so easily. I think that's that's once again is testament to anyone. When if you ask someone, a player, what they want to do, consistency is probably going to be at the top of the list of a lot of players. So. He manages to do that. We certainly know how highly regarded he is within Adelaide, and I think the rest of the league probably are quite well aware of that by now too.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think people probably underestimate how much work would go into being able to be a near 7-footer and to be able to do the things you can do on the court. I mean, there's not too many people your size that can shoot and move how you do, and how much work over the years has gone into that, or especially in your developing years? How hard did you have to work for someone at your size to be able to do the things that you can now do? Or did it come naturally?
I think it's kind of a problem with being put in a pigeonhole, and you're big and you can't do this and that. And I've been lucky. I've had coaches over the years that have, made sure that I've worked on those other skills. And, once you get a little bit of a taste for it and you're like, I can do these fun things that the guards get to do, you just kind of work on it a bit more. And growing up, I was a bit of a gym rat. I loved, living in the gym and getting shots up. And once you figure out that hard work leads to success, you keep working hard, and that's kind of served me well over the years. So I think I've just been fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you trace right back, you went to a high school here in Perth that's famous for its basketball at Willerton. They've got a fantastic basketball academy, and they've got a great club across the road from the high school. Is that where it all started to come together for you?
Yeah, I think so. Just being in that environment where you're going against the best guys every day was a big thing. And, all my friends were on, state teams together and played club basketball together. So we're just always playing. And like you said, the school was right next to the stadium. So, lunch and recess, I was going over there and getting shots up. So yeah, it was just a good environment to grow up in, to be successful in basketball.
I was going to say, mate, well, I don't know about you, Chris, but I'm very happy that he's shooting those jump shots to the 36ers. So, and obviously, looking forward to more of the same during the season.
Absolutely. Now, when you do get back to Perth, how often do you get the question about why haven't you played for the Wildcats?
I get it from mum and dad the most, but it's just never really worked out. I was having a conversation with my dad the other day, like, do you think it would have been different if you'd come back to Perth instead of Adelaide that early on time? But they just never really were interested when I was younger, and then I just fell in love with Adelaide, and it was just easy to stay there every time contract came up. So no, I think I wouldn't change a thing. I'm very happy.
I was watching the Blitz the other day, and the pre-season game between Melbourne United and the Phoenix was played at the Old Cage, and it reminded me that that's where you started your career, but it's a great reminder of how far the league's come over the last 10 years, that the biggest club in Melbourne used to call that their home court. They now play out of John Cain Arena. Over in Adelaide, you play in the Entertainment Centre in Perth. Here you play at the 14,000-seat RAC Arena. Scotty's having some fun at home with his kids, and I'm happy to have the background noise, Scotty. It creates some atmosphere. But I mean, the league has come so far over your career, and you're in a great position to have seen it from that. You go back to 2008, 2009, there was a chance the league wouldn't have existed at all, and now it's probably as strong as it's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy back then. Every off-season, there was talks of the league shutting down, and you were worried about whether you're going to have a job the next year. And it's just night and day to what it is now, where there's guys coming back from NBA and guys going from here straight to the NBA, and it's just become a very high-quality league that I'm happy to be a part of. You look around the league now, and every team is pretty stacked with guys, going into the bench that could have probably dominated over the last 10 years. So, yeah, I think the league's in a really good place at the moment.
Probably the best way to sum it up is that Scotty was a coach back then and he's not now, and perhaps that highlights the strength of the coaches in the league now, Scotty.
Yeah, I was going to say, boys, I might have to take leave of this conversation. I've got World War III breaking out the next room, so
okay,
I might have to say goodbye and leave you two to wrap it up.
I'll let you go with your predictions for this weekend. Start Friday night in Perth and then Sunday at home to the Hawks. What are your predictions?
36ers, mate. 2-0. Let's bring it on.
No,
absolutely.
Perfect, and we'll be back next week to talk about it all. Thanks, Scotty.
No worries, boys. Good luck, DJ.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
All right, I think we could hear what was happening in the background there, DJ. So it was probably no surprise that he had to move on. Now that he's not with us, you can probably tell us what you really think of Scotty Ninnis. But in all seriousness, kind of throw me a little bit now. But actually, off track a little bit. Josh Giddey, what was it like to see how far he developed last season? Because I think once he arrived for your pre-season, he was nowhere near the player that he ended up being by the end of the season, and now we can see what he's doing in the NBA. And you ended up developing a great sort of connection with him. It looked like you and he had a great understanding out on the court together. What was it like playing with him last season?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Josh came in and I guess no one was really sure where he was going to fit in with the group. And obviously with Donald leaving early on, it kind of, they gave him the keys and said, here you go, like sink or swim. And to his credit, he really worked hard and took over the club. And, I was really impressed with what I saw from an 18-year-old out there. The triple doubles are nice and all that, but I think just the vision, the court vision, getting the ball to people in the right spots.
And the fact he wanted to win, he had that real killer instinct wanting to win, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a tough guy. Like, I think, he fell over a few times, landed on his head, and he's just straight up and playing again. So he's obviously, been raised to be, a tough kid, and I think it's serving him well over in the NBA now. I think, he's gone to strength, and yeah, I'm just really happy for him. He's a great guy as well. So, I hope he can have, a lot of success over there.
There's a couple of guys now. Terrence Ferguson is another one that you played with at the 36ers that's now playing in the NBA. Does it give you a bit of a kick when you do turn on the game and you see guys that you've played with and used to be your teammates?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the basketball community's such a close, small world, really, and you see so many guys that you've run into over the years, playing the NBA or over in Europe or somewhere, and it's pretty cool to see, not only that they're doing so well, but that, the viewers can follow their players no matter where they go in the world now. So, yeah, it's just a special thing to be a part of.
And you talked about Adelaide now being home, and you didn't know what to expect when you got there. Was it when you met your now wife that is when you realised that it's probably going to become your home, or when did you start to feel like this could be the place that I now potentially spend the rest of my life?
Yeah, it took a little while. Obviously, me and Danielle was great, and her family really looked after me and became really my second family really early on. So I just always had that support network there, and made some really good friends, and I just love the city. So put that with having a bit of success on the court as well, and it was just a really easy decision to be there, and now I just love it.
And post basketball, has she won the battle that Adelaide will still be home, or is that a decision you'll make when you stop playing?
Yeah, no, I think we're pretty set in Adelaide now. We've got the family home, and I think hopefully once basketball's done, we'll be able to get back to Perth a bit more often than we do at the moment. Once all this COVID stuff's done as well, but no, we love Perth as well, and we will try to get back as much as possible.
Have you already started to think what you might like to do post your playing career, or when? I'm not saying anywhere near your end because you're still playing as well as you ever have now, but when do you start to think about what you might like to do when you stop playing, or do you already know what you might want to do, or how does all of that work?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, obviously the NBL's got a lot of things in place now that kind of try and get you ready for that post-basketball life and try and figure it out. For me, honestly, I've sat down and thought, but nothing's really jumped out. There's things I'm interested in, but nothing, that I really want to get into just yet. I've always found like basketball's been, the thing I've focused on and just had a one-track mind a bit, and that's kind of served me well. So, like you said, I'm hopefully got a few more years left in me to figure it out, and hopefully something jumps out in that time. But at the moment, I'm just kind of focusing on basketball, and lucky enough, I've met a few people over in Adelaide over the years that hopefully can help me out once I get to that point.
I mean, it's funny, or probably not funny, but it's tough how it can hit you probably when you're earlier than you expected. And I can immediately think of three of your former teammates that, as of this year, are suddenly not professional basketballers anymore, with Adam Gibson, Brendan Tees and Daniel Dillon, all who probably are good enough to still be playing in the league, but just haven't been lucky enough to be offered a contract anywhere. Do you feel for guys like that who probably thought they would still be playing in the NBL right now, but all of a sudden they've got to now start to think about that next phase of life?
Like a part of me, wishes they were still here. Obviously, I was very close with Teasy and, would love him to still be on the team. But, at the same time, they were very lucky to have as long as careers as they've had. And a lot of guys don't even get 1 year as a professional. So to have, 10 plus, and obviously Gibbo playing Olympics and Dan playing all over the world, they've been very fortunate. So I think, it's just perspective. I think guys are pretty grateful for what they've had. And Teasy's pretty well set up after basketball, and his family's back in Brisbane now, and I talked to him a fair bit, and he's very happy where he's at. So I'm just happy for him that he's got to experience the basketball, and now he's got this life after basketball, which I'm sure he did very well in as well.
Yeah, no, sure, very well said. Okay, that's hit the home stretch. Let's look to Friday night. I remember being in the building when you played the very first game at the Perth Arena. That was a memorable night for you. Before we talk about this game on Friday night, do you have fond memories back to that historic night? It was almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah, Perth's always a great atmosphere to come into and get a win and walk out and kind of silence the crowd. Guys either love playing in front of packed out local fans or they don't. I personally love it, and having my family there and friends and stuff, it just is a good atmosphere to play in front of. If we could play there every week, I'd want to. Yep. So it's just exciting to be here, and game one, like I said, we're going to be in the deep end from day dot, and we'll know where we're at. So I'm excited for the group. We haven't really hit a massive challenge yet, so this will be it, and it'll be interesting to see where we're at.
Both clubs that have a new coach. How much changes when you get a new coach? Obviously, maybe not so much for you guys, because obviously Connor was only there for one season and CJ coming in. But do you expect a totally different Wildcats team for now their first game without Trevor Gleeson and with Scott Morrison in charge?
Yeah, I think it's always going to be slightly different. The culture, I think, of that club was pretty player driven, but obviously Trev was a massive part of that as well. So, they've still got a lot of guys there from previous years that know the culture of the club, and probably want to keep that in check. But it's obviously going to be different. As a player, just learning a complete new system. Guys get comfortable and they know their looks and where they're going to get their shots from, and that just changes a little bit. And it's just how long that takes for guys to adjust to it. For us with CJ, we're playing a completely different style that we play with Connor, I think. But I think it suits us really well this year with the group we have. So, yeah, I'm excited for us to just get really good at the system and execute out there and give the fans a, really exciting brand of basketball to watch.
Who's more frustrating to play against? Was it the old Sean Reddish, the scoring machine, or Jesse Wakestad?
It's different. I'll probably say Sean. Like, he was just, crazy what he could do. And, if he got going, he was really, really tough to stop. Sean was hard to play against, that's for sure.
You talk about liking playing in this building. You've actually had some pretty good success there. You take out, I guess, losing the grand final, game 3 there, which was the downside, but you've won a playoff series there to decide. And you've probably got as good a record, I think, just about as any other club, I think, at ROC Arena. As a building, what's it like to play in? And you've already said you like the crowd side of it, and you like having that sort of atmosphere. But as a building, is it a good one for shooters? Is it a good one for someone like you?
I think it's all right. It's not probably the best one for shooters, but I think the crowd's pretty set back from the court. Yep. So it is loud, but
it's not as intense as the old Challenge Stadium.
Nah, Challenge was wild. Yeah. I remember playing there. But I guess it's a bit like us now. Where we're at the entertainment centre, it's really nice, but it's just a little different to Titanium, where people were just sitting on top of you kind of thing. So, it's just a different vibe. But, I really enjoy playing there.
You're back in Sunday Ditch to do a good job on Bryce Cotton. I know he's setting himself for a big night. Yeah,
Church approaches, every game. He wants the toughest guy on the other team to guard, and he takes it upon himself to be, our leader defensively. So I'm excited for him. He's a little beat up at the moment, but he's a quick healer, I hope, and he should be right by Friday. So, yeah, it's always good for him to have that challenge, and we just got to make sure we help him out as a team. And you're not going to stop him just one guy. It's about helping off those other guys and really making it hard for him.
When you've got a short turnaround to then play on Sunday, how much impact does the result in that first game on a weekend like that play on how you're feeling coming into the second game? If you get a big win, how good are you feeling? And then conversely to that, if you happen to lose on Friday night, does that add to the motivation for Sunday? Or what difference does it make if you win or lose that first game?
I think you always want to split those weekends at least. That's what you're aiming for. But I think especially with the way the season is this year, it's just, game after game after game. So you don't really have time to dwell on wins and losses. It's just getting ready for the next one. So, obviously it's a tough game first up, but the Hawks are going to be tough as well at home. And we're excited to get back there in front of fans and that'll probably pump us up and give us a bit of a lift for that second game. But I think the whole weekend's, pretty big early weekend for us.
Yeah, let's talk about that game on Sunday at the Entertainment Centre against the Illawarra Hawks. It's been a long time since you played at home. I think you spent the last 2 weeks of the regular season, or at least the last 3 or 4 games of last season, away from home. You haven't been able to play any preseason games at home in Adelaide. You must be excited to get in front of the home fans again.
Yeah, no, I am. Obviously, last year we didn't give them much to cheer about, and we're pretty disappointed about that. So just getting back out there and showing the brand that we're going to play this year up and down, and I'm sure all the new guys are just keen to show what they got out there and give the crowd something to cheer about. We're excited to go home. It's been a long time away and see the families and that, but at the same time we want to take care of business and make sure this year that we're getting a lot of wins at home and packing the place out.
It's funny, isn't it? You'll get home on Saturday and first time in more than 3 weeks, I think, and it'll feel like you're going back to a hotel. You'll spend one night at home and then you've got a game again the next day. You don't have much time to settle back in.
Nah, I think 3 nights, 4 nights back home, and then we're off to Tassie again. So we've got pretty understanding wives, and they do a good job of holding things down while we're gone. But that's just the nature of the sport that we play, and we're just excited that the season's finally starting, and we can get stuck in.
Yeah, and just looking at the Hawks as well, they look to be pretty strong. They were strong last year, and potentially, they've added some pieces, including Joel Reith to Tyler Harvey, who's back again, and Justinian Jessup, who's back again, who are going to make them pretty strong. What are you going to do well against them?
Well, like you said, they got a lot of weapons, a lot of different guys that can get going. Obviously, Harvey's the one we're going to try and shut down, and I think Reed's going to be massive for them as well, like you said. So, yeah, they're definitely going to be a tough team to play against. On the flip side, I don't know, the guards are pretty undersized. I think we got some pretty big guards this year, so I guess that'll be a focus for us. And yeah, just trying to get a home win first up.
Even last season, like you said, you didn't give them a lot to cheer about a lot of the time, and it was an interrupted season for a lot of ways. But I think the crowds at the entertainment centre was still the second highest across the league, behind only Perth, and it was around that 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 mark every night. And it must be great knowing that you've got such support in Adelaide from those fans who they're still going to support you no matter how you're going, but you hope to obviously give them a bit more to cheer about.
Yeah, no, we've been really fortunate. Since the move, just people have been showing up. Obviously, it's in a great location, and it's a great night out for the fans. But we want to give them something to cheer about and something to talk about, and we want to pack it out. We want to get up to that 10,000 as much as possible. And I know from experience, once you win a few games, people really show up for you. So that's what we're trying to do this year, and hopefully have some success.
Yeah, you've been very generous to join us for so long here on Sixers Fix this week. How much do you hate doing things like this, DJ?
I don't mind it so much. I prefer this stuff than getting up in front of a big crowd and doing a speech and all that. Yeah. But no, I mean, like I've been saying, I'm just lucky and fortunate to be in the position I'm in. So this is what comes with it. And I don't mind reminiscing every now and then. So it's not too bad.
No, you've been very generous. One last one. We're all excited about what this team can do this season. What are you most excited about now coming into a new season?
I just think we haven't had success over the last few years, and that's been disappointing. And I just want to get that feeling back where we're winning games, we're building towards something special, and just get the whole city behind us. And I think we have a group this year that can do that. I think CJ is going to lead us really well, and I'm just excited to get started. Just
quickly, one last one. He knows how to win championships. Obviously, you're as desperate as anyone to win a championship. Is that the one thing above everything else that?
Yeah, that's the only thing really left to do, and that we're all fighting for. And like I said, I honestly think this is the best chance we've had in a few years to really do something special this year. So yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks very much for joining us, DJ. Very generous with your time, and I really appreciate you giving up this much time for us. Thanks to Scotty for joining us earlier on the show before other things took him away from us. Obviously, thanks to everyone who makes Sixers Fix possible. So thank you to All Star Photos, Australian Motors Mitsubishi Sports Card World, and of course Premium Wine Tours. I'll wrap it up there, and we look forward to taking on Perth on Friday night in Perth, and then Sunday where we hope to see you all at the Entertainment Centre against the Hawks. Thanks to DJ, thanks to Scott, I'm Chris Pike, and thanks for listening to Sixers Fix.